Hey gang, so you got a Traxxas Maxx? What's one of the first mods are you gonna do to your Traxxas Maxx? I know. Let's put on a WideMaxx Kit on it. Stay tuned and watch the rest of this video. Alright, let's go! Okay gang, so welcome back. So this video is gonna be about my Traxxas Maxx and the Traxxas Maxx WideMaxx Kit that I put on during the time that I was down with having some of the symptoms, what I felt was coronavirus. But if you watch my previous video, basically the doctor said I tested negative when I got my results back, but you can test negative and still have some of the effects. It's sort of like getting the flu. You might have the flu entirely, but have some of the symptoms of the flu. So basically he said maybe I did have coronavirus, but just not as bad. But anyway, this is just some of the things that I did when I was down and putting myself on the quarantine. So basically, I got this WideMaxx kit. It was the kit that I actually won in one of the raffles. So when I won one of the Traxxas Maxxes, I didn't win more than one. I actually won 3 Maxxes, and I sold 2 of them. But one of them actually came with a WideMaxx kit, and this one actually came in black. Found out that this is one of the older ones because I believe the newer ones now do come with extended CV axles now, which is a pretty good deal. But in any case, I bought all the parts that I needed to install this. So let me just show you what I did do and what it kind of currently looks like. So basically, it's kind of like putting on all the things that you probably want to put on when you get a Traxxas Maxx. So even though I had the wide kit, I did buy the steel axles for this. So I know that this was probably one of the things that that might break once you go with a WideMaxx kit. I actually bought those eBay's I guess they call them the Twizzlers, which is basically like a 3D printed piece over the stock axles that kind of lengthen the width, so as you drive, it won't pop out of the axle here, out of the differential. But I just forego that and said, what the heck, let's buy all the right parts for this. So basically that's what I did. So let me just flip this over and I'll show you what I kind of did. So in the kit, as you know, it comes with all the parts you need, except for a few things. You will need to buy the hex adapters for the wheels. So these are the 17 millimeter hex adapters. These are the Traxxas ones. I got blue anodized ones, as well as if you want good longevity and reliability, buy some steel axles. So I got the Traxxas ones. So on all 4s, I did add the steel axles, steel bones here for my Traxxas, and install that. Another procedure on doing the wide kit is that you would have to put or switch the springs from the rear to the front. So I did do that. I put the rear springs up on the front here, as you can see here, and included in the WideMaxx kit is their own springs, and you put that in the rear. Now once you do that, basically the last thing you would have to do is just do your shock oil. So shock oil, I guess, would differ on how you bash your vehicle. I think stock on the Max is like 40 weight or 45 weight. I opted to put in 80 weight on mine because basically I tend to run my vehicles kind of hard. I don't do too many high jumps or much damage, I guess, running my vehicles, but 80 weight would probably be better than putting like a 60 weight or 50 weight oil if there's something like that. But some people put 60 weight and they mix and match. They might put 60 in the front, 40 in the rear, or whatever they prefer. It might be the other way around, but I opted to go 80 weight all the way around, and that's basically how I'm currently running it. So didn't take too long. I did have to wait for some of the parts because I did already have this in hand. Basically I had to wait to get my my hex adapters in, and which is a nice thing because, as you know, once you get these hex adapters in, you don't have those plastic silicone spacers anymore. So basically it's a true 17 millimeter hex nut on there. And you can, with that, you can switch whatever tire and wheel combination that you want to put on from a different vehicle if you want to go wider or taller. So that's another option that you can do. Wanted to also show you something else that I did, and it was my first time doing it. So it was a learning process that I had to go through, but as you know, the stock body is kind of flimsy. So this is actually what I did. I did go on, I guess, or join a forum on Facebook. So it was a Maxx forum, and they actually, in reinforcing the body, said that you can actually put in screen mesh. So I bought from the hardware store screen mesh. Now, it might look a little goopy and sloppy because this is my first attempt. So when I actually put this on, the mesh is actually one piece. So basically I cut it to size and put it on as one piece. But in order to put this on, as you know, the screen mesh does not have a sticky side to it. So when I put it on, or when I started to put it on, I started to put shoe glue on it. And I guess I was using too much of it at the start. And basically did the same thing or same procedure just to get the mesh to stick to the body, because the screen mesh is a lot heavier than the fiberglass fiberglass drywall tape. So this is drywall tape, and as you know, drywall tape has a sticky side to it. But screen mesh like this is what I basically use, and I do have a roll of it here, down here. But anyway, there it is. So I do have a roll of it. It looks like this. So it's a little bit, just a little bit heavier, but not much. But it is thicker. So if you're to put this on, or as you start to put this on, there's no way that it sticks on because it has no adhesive backing to it. So putting on a one piece onto the body on my first try, I thought I had to put a lot of shoe glue, and that's what caused a lot of this, I guess, like balls of goop on it. So basically this is what it looked like. But in honesty, I think this might be a better way of reinforcing the body, because I'll show you something else that I've done in order to reinforce the body. And I did use fiberglass the second time around. And you might ask what I did put it on, and I did put it on my Haas. So let's take the body off this one, and I show you what it looks like. So when I did the Haas, because it has an adhesive backing to it, and because I did learn from my experience of doing the Maxx the first time, the Maxx, as you can see, has a lot of this rolled up pieces of shoe glue. But if you look at the Haas, so much cleaner, so much better looking. But the only problem is it's still a little bit flimsy. So it's a little bit, I guess, more rigid because there is fiberglass here, but I'm not sure how it's going to hold up. In terms of weight, this does feel a lot heavier, the Maxx, but it is a bigger vehicle. But the thing with the mesh in here, this will probably be much more durable. So it's not as appeasing to the eye in terms of looking at it, but I think in terms of durability, this still does flex, but it'll be better than it was than stock. But the fiberglass way is the nicer way to do it. So I guess on my next vehicle, if I'm going to do some more reinforcement, I am going to use the screen mesh again. I'll try two different ways. I'll try to do a one piece like I did on this one, but when I apply the shoe glue, I'll just put enough just to make it stick in certain areas, like just putting it here, here, and move on to here, here, here. So once that all sticks, then I'll go over it the next time with thinner amounts of shoe glue. So basically you got to just build it up. So that's what I did with this one. It did help that the fiberglass or the drywall tape did have a sticky back, so it did hold when you put it on. Albeit not as, not like tape. It does still kind of peel up, but just putting a thin amount of shoe glue all around, waiting for it to dry, and then putting another layer, waiting it to dry, and put in maybe like a third layer just to see and make sure any of these crevices are not popping up. That seemed to have done the trick, and it looks so much cleaner. If you can look here. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. So I did cutting in pieces, and that kind of helps going through all the different areas that you need to go over that has all these cracks and crevices. So cutting it to length and then tucking it in is a lot easier than doing something like this. So this is the Max. So like you can see here, a lot of goop there. So it's visibly not as appeasing or nice looking, but it does the job. So I think this is the way to go for me in terms of durability, because it is more rigid, much more rigid. And I think it actually looks nicer than compared to the drywall tape, but that's up to you. Drywall tape does come in different colors, so what I had available to me was that white color one, but I think they come in orange. You can get it in black too. Black might be nicer looking, so you can get this look, but in terms of durability, I think this would be better. So I'll probably try again a one piece, and like I said, just build up on the shoe goo. The first application is just a thin layer just to get it to stick, waiting for it to dry, and then just putting additional layers as you go on. So yeah, it doesn't look appealing, but this is actually my first time doing it. This is a one piece. If you find it too difficult to do a one piece, because I did have to trim a little, do some pie cuts here in order to tuck it in there into the crevices. So I do have some pie cuts. Basically, they just overlap the screen mesh here. But I did pie cuts, but it came out fine. It did its job. It works. I did find the mesh a little bit thicker, so when I put the rear tailgate or the rear, I guess you can call it the wing section on, it was a little bit thicker here. So I had to make sure I pushed this all the way down in order for the screws to catch the plastic. So I did have to use a longer screw on this side, so that's why I have a protrusion here. Because I guess when the shoe goo dried, it actually was some buildup in here, so I had to use a different screw. So instead of a flathead hex screw, I used one of my hex screws or hex nut screws, not sure what you would call it, but and in a different length, so a little bit longer. So that's why I protruded here. But I can live with that. That's fine. So this is a new body. I kind of like the rock and roll body. Nice color. So I mean, it is a lot more rigid. I mean, look at it. I'm squeezing this with one hand, and it's not flexing at all. A little bit here at the bottom, but you know, here at the body, it is really stiff. So it's not bulletproof. Nothing is, but it'll last longer than not having it. Because I know without it, it felt like the body would tear pretty easy if I continue to do some more bashing. So that's up to you guys. That's your choice, whatever method you want to use. This is much simpler using the drywall tape, but I think I'm going to stick with doing the screen mesh method. So that's it, guys. That's what I did with my Max. I did the WideMaxx Kit. Again, you will have to buy certain parts, and if you just want to do wrenching on it for the only one time only, I suggest you get all the parts. Longevity, again, I would get the steel axles, Traxxas ones. I believe there are other ones out there on the market you can get, but I'm sticking with Traxxas OEM parts, and you will need to get the hex nuts too. And then change your weight oil for dampening. So this is much more plush now. I mean, it squares up pretty well, if you can look at that. Really nice looking. Real nice dampening. So it took me a few hours because I take my time putting everything together. But this is my current state of it. Hopefully we'll be able to change the fans on these. If you watch my other video, I did pick up Nidec server fans, which I do have in my felony and in my infraction. So I hope to replace the fans here with that if I can. I just got to find a way to mounting it. But So gang, so stay tuned for more action, some more videos coming up. Do have more things I want to do, and hopefully we can take the infraction out for its first batch session since putting in the fans, and some more batch sessions with the film. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Stay tuned for more. Alright.